talking about Mumbai, there are many places where you can go and understand nature in its very natural way. Like if you go to any beaches around you, you understand the coastal ecosystems. If you go to, let's say, Dahisar River, or any other river that you see around you, although they are not in good condition at the moment, but there is a habitat which stays and survives in that context. If you see at parks, that is a different habitat altogether. So I believe that you need to go. If you see Gilbert Hill, for that matter, you see a different landscape altogether. If you go to Jeevdani, you see a hilly terrain around. You see rocky outcrops in and around us. So there are many multiple habitats and ecosystems which are there around us. It's just that we need to just go out and see what is there in our city.
Right.
So I got inspiration from this architect called as Roberto Burle Marx, the Brazilian architect, and I find myself in that frame where he also expresses himself in his paintings, artworks, as well as convert those spaces into built spaces, landscape spaces.
Can you describe more about his art?
I think he does a lot of abstract art, and in his paintings, he expresses very artistic way of making some compositions and converting that into a piece of landscape, whether it is a paving pattern, whether it is a planting pattern. That gets a very creative blend of dealing with landscape projects.
So earlier when we were talking, you mentioned about permaculture education. What is that exactly?
So permaculture is basically permanent agriculture in a very short way. It is something where we deal with growing fruits and vegetables in a very natural, organic way. It is basically a science where whatever is grown in the field, the waste which is produced by that is again utilized in the same setting, and there is no external things which are added while growing those plants.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Landscape Guru, a podcast where we explore people, ideas and stories that shape the world of landscape architecture. In today's episode, we are joined by architect Sujit Jadhav, someone who wears multiple hats: a landscape architect, educator, nature lover, and someone who strongly believes in learning through experiences. He brings over a decade of experience in teaching, and his design philosophy involves ecological thinking, hands-on experiences, and deep-rooted values. So stay tuned and watch the full episode. Hello, I'm Brunal and welcome to the show Landscape Guru. Today we welcome architect Sujit Jadhav on the show. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So let's start with something simple. If you have to describe landscape architecture to someone who has never heard about it, how would you explain this field to that person?
Okay, I think when we talk about landscape, I think the very nature of things around you, be it sun, sky, greenery, trees, is something in a very simple way we can put up as a landscape. But what I feel is, as in we get more and more accustomed to this word, we understand that we can also shape this landscape. So the primary nature of things around is also landscape, and you can shape it up. You can create spaces which are having landscape as a main component in it. So I think somebody who doesn't know landscape architecture or landscape, they just have to open their windows and look around. Everything that they see is landscape.
So from your earlier perspective towards landscape architecture and after the architectural journey, how it has evolved for you?
I think I've understood more about landscape architecture when I graduated and when I did masters. Uh, there are a lot of things which I understood in terms of concepts, in terms of processes which are there involved in landscape. I understood what allied fields are related to landscape architecture. I understood that how nature can be shaped up for the betterment of the users, and not only humans as a users, but birds, bees, butterflies around. They can also get benefited by how you shape the nature, and so it was great learning. I understood a lot of perspectives with respect to how landscape can be done, uh, whether it is in India or abroad. And I think I now become more sensitive towards the environment around me. So that's the biggest change I see when I learned about landscape. Yeah.
So basically, you have brought up in a context of Sanjay Gandhi National Park because you reside there. So surrounded by breathing natural environment. So how did that shape your perspective towards nature, towards people, and towards space?
Right.
To be talked about.
So I was born and brought up inside Sanjay Gandhi National Park. So my dad used to work for MSCB.
Okay.
And we had quarters there inside Sanjay Gandhi National Park. So first 15 years of my life I have spent inside the jungle.
Oh.
And I have seen nature quite closely. So I have understood each and every element of nature very closely. Whether it is playing in forest, whether it is playing under waterfall, watching animals around me. So this has always been the very natural environment where I played. I would rather call it as a setting in terms of landscape. I have learned a lot of things during this journey. I've learned about resilience. I've learned about patience. I've learned to appreciate smaller things in and around me. So quite sensitive approach towards everything around me in terms of environment. And I think I've had a very good memory bank. I've gathered so many experiences, kind of bring me into a nostalgia mode where when I am teaching, I could relate to a lot of, activities which I myself did in nature. So whether it is climbing a mountain or climbing up the tree, which is slightly rare in today's scenario when I see kids playing in a very very small setup of play which is artificial. So upbringing inside national park was, I'm still reaping the fruits of it, and I'm really grateful for that.
So what was that point of clarity you had, like, and then you decided to do masters in landscape architecture? Because you started with your journey in Biaj,
Right.
but then there must be some point which was a very crucial point where you decided and where you were very focused and mainly focusing on that portion, and you moved to this field.
So during my graduation days, first, second year were very much new to me. I mean, I was not that confident in my academics. And later on, I realized that I was more good in space planning. I was more good in developing the sites rather than designing a built space. So in my very third
There
year,
your early memories
come
from.
So like I remember in my third year when I had the landscape project, I excelled in that. My professors were very proud. My parents were very proud. The way I designed spaces. So from my graduation days, it was very much clearer that I wanted to do my masters in landscape. And when I took admission, actually before taking admission in masters, I did a job. So I worked in multiple offices in and around, which were in landscape. So there I got to know that I am just merely making drawings. I am not understanding the the factors which lead to a design. And then I decided that yes, I need to do a masters because making just drawings is not something which I was meant for. So yeah, in 2017-18, I joined the landscape master's course, and after completion, I was completely satisfied with I actually got the logic behind everything. So since childhood, I visually saw the nature, and after my masters, I actually got why things work the way they are. So that was a turning point.
So earlier when we were talking, you mentioned about permaculture education. What is that exactly?
So permaculture is basically permanent agriculture in a very
Okay.
short way. It is something where we deal with growing fruits and vegetables in a very natural, organic way.
Okay.
It is basically a science where whatever is grown in the field, uh, the waste which is produced by that is again utilized in the same setting, and there is no external things which are added while growing those plants. So in a way, it is a very ecologically very better way of growing fruits and vegetables and harvesting it in a very natural way. So I think as the world is moving ahead and we are all buying fruits and vegetables from unknown sources, permaculture is going to be the thing. And yeah, I decided to do a course on permaculture, and it was a 3-4
So it
months.
was after your masters?
Yeah, it was after my masters. Yeah.
Okay. So then again, that question, what led to that decision that you want to do something
So
like that?
I always believe that knowledge should be upgraded. It has to be updated as we grow up, because there's a lot happening in the world that we are unaware of,
Yeah.
and we need to upskill our skills, whether it is not only landscape, but even if it is visual arts, whether it is nursery visit or plants, so all these things needs to be upgraded, just so that as a professional of landscape, you need to have a holistic idea of how the natural world is. So I believe that we should keep doing it. So every year I make sure that at least one new course related to
Acha.
landscape or any other elements
Okay.
of landscape I do. So yeah.
Okay. So how does it go hand in hand? Like you work on projects as well, other than
Yeah.
academics?
So currently I'm working as a full-time faculty.
Correct.
So it's been like almost 10 years that I'm teaching in an institute. And yeah, so it happens where the courses are short term courses, like 3 months, 4 months,
Okay.
where I can dedicate my time in research and getting to know new things. And
Okay.
mostly a weekend course works best for me. So in that
Okay.
way, I keep doing it. And very good thing happens is that I share the knowledge to my students. So knowledge sharing of what I am learning in the context of the institute where I teach becomes very easier. So my students also do get benefit of.
So there comes my next question. What led you to shift or come to this academic world?
Okay.
And you have been quite a lot. I mean, you are focusing on academics only, and it is not always the first choice of the designers in the beginning. So how did you come in teaching?
So teaching has come naturally to me. My dad was also a teacher.
Okay.
So imparting knowledge which I learn to the students has come out very naturally. So I happened to visit one institute one fine day as a juror,
Okay.
and during the discussion we come up with some ideas. I sketch on the students' portfolio, and then one fine day I get a call from the principal that you have really explained things to the kid in a very better way. So why don't you join there as a visiting faculty? So working there for visiting faculty for 6 months, I realized that I do have a potential of imparting knowledge to the students, and that is how I started. So it was very organic, it was very natural.
So you take these short courses that you also keep upgrading yourself upon into the studios,
Yes.
and
Yes.
how it is related or how it is different, but at the same time it is connected to landscape architecture.
So I believe that in architecture course, specifically for landscape, it's just 1 year which is given in terms of exploring what is landscape and what projects do we deal with. So I make sure that in the semester pattern that we have, we cover as much as possible in terms of real world case studies or doing some short design programs or having some hands-on workshops. So I believe that apart from theoretical knowledge, uh, these things do matter. It helps students, bring up new ideas about landscape, and I think that is the seed that we should lay as educators. Like in very third year, if you help them inspire, help them understand landscape in a very easy manner rather than giving bookish knowledge, would definitely help them understand that there is a career path in this direction as well.
So how is their
yeah.
perspective when they look at something from a very fresh lens? So how do you come across these students with different perspective towards this field?
So I think students are raw. They come up with an idea that they are going to be an architect, and they have a very different perspective about landscape as a subject specifically. And I think helping them understand landscape at its very at its nutshell, we need to do a lot of groundwork as educators. So we need to make them go in nature firstly, because having a first hand experience with nature is what I believe opens up the doors for understanding nature, how it works. Having short exercises on site, helping them visit nurseries, doing small workshops like in institute where I teach. I do take workshops on terrariums, microgreens, or doing some land art projects. So that is how I help, get them involved in natural elements, natural components, and eventually then yes, making them work on, landscape projects.
Can you
So-
describe more on land art, because it sounds really interesting?
So land art is an art which is not permanent. So it was a movement which had started in the Western world way back. The idea is that you create art in a setting of a nature, and you help create it with the elements which are available nearby. So let's say I can create a land art by using only stones, or twigs of the trees, or just the fallen leaves. And I create it in a such a way that it has some pattern, some composition, some meaning, some narrative. And after doing that, you just leave it as is. So with the temporal quality of nature, the art naturally blends with the setting. And so it is a very temporal art in that way, and helps you understand the environment in more better way. So very recently, I think in month of June itself, we had gone to Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and we did a land art exercise there using the existing materials there. And the kind of response that we got from student was very different. They enjoyed working in the playground of nature, and the compositions that came up were really interesting. So yeah, I think it's an unexplored art in India. Needs to be explored more.
Can you describe any one interesting art from artwork?
So there was one group of students who did a starry night concept using all the leaves which were available in that piece of land, and they created a composition was very rhythmic, lot of use of color and textures, and we were very much surprised by how it came up, because initially they were struggling to find out a flat piece of land and finding out what element to use. But as and when we explained them about looking the nature in more deeper sense, so observation is the key. So how well do they observe the environment around them, That helped them, and very interesting set of compositions made by them.
Nice. So, what is the kind of outcome that you expect as a professor from students with such exercises?
I think it has to be very natural and organic. We need not over critically analyze things which students are doing, because we need to understand their age, their perspective, their way of looking at nature or environment. They are just kids at the moment, so let them enjoy what they are doing. And over the course of time, yes, they can be groomed, they can be made to understand the concepts of landscape in a better way. So I feel as educators we need to slightly chill with respect to students, because such subjects can't be taught in a very restricted manner, or very particular manner, the way you teach working drawings maybe. So it's a creative subject and needs to be done in a creative way.
Yeah. So, in your perspective, is it important to have better knowledge of materials and products than to understand people and culture and land more?
I think everything is important, because, like I said, environment is about people, material, experiences. So we need to understand what materials are there in the market at the moment, as well as we need to see what is there around in our setting. Understanding people is also important. So how do they perceive landscape, or how do they perceive the spaces designed around them? So I don't think so we can segregate things in that manner. Everyone is part of a bigger landscape ultimately. So I think knowledge about people, material, lights, colors, patterns, everything does play important.
So, as you have strong connection with Sanjay Gandhi National Park, can you tell us more about some other part of the city that has also inspired you or taught you something that you carry that along with you?
Talking about Mumbai, there are many places where you can go and understand nature in its very natural way. Like if you go to any beaches around you, you understand the coastal ecosystems. If you go to, let's say, Dahisar River, or any other river that you see around you, although they are not in good condition at the moment, but there is a habitat which stays and survives in that context. If you see at parks, that is a different habitat altogether. So I believe that you need to go. If you see Gilbert Hill, for that matter, you see a different landscape altogether. If you go to Jeevdani, you see a hilly terrain around. You see rocky outcrops in and around us. So there are many multiple habitats and ecosystems which are there around us. It's just that we need to just go out and see what is there in our city.
Right. So, if you talk about your thesis topic as landscape architect, or when you were doing your masters, what was that topic and how did you choose that? Because what I understand from our conversation is you are more clinging towards art and creativity. So I would like to know about your studies.
So my thesis was related to what I experienced in my childhood. So, like I said, I was born and brought up inside Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and the nature around me was my playground.
Right.
So the thesis topic which I chose was also reimagining public gardens as natural playscapes for children in urban context. So I did a case analysis of Thakur village in Kandivali. So that is where I studied.
It is inside the national park?
No, it's in Kandivali. So there are these multiple pockets, public parks, which are there in Thakur village. So I happened to study each one of them, and I understood that not all of them cater to the natural inclination of children towards nature. So many of them are artificially designed. Some have a lot of pavements, some are not maintained properly, or it is very play apparatus oriented, like there are swings, there are slides, and rubberized flooring. So my main research was how I can create these existing parks into a natural parks for children to experience the first hand nature. So that is how I started building up my case, and I believe that there is a lot to do. There's there needs to be a lot of research which needs to be put up. A lot of local authorities needs to be guided well in terms of how we can make our spaces more child friendly, where they can enjoy nature.
Yeah, as designers, I think we give a lot, but how it is perceived and how it is utilized is completely dependent on the users, and you cannot predict it. It is very difficult to understand people and understand how your design is going to be perceived.
Right.
So, have you come across any of such incidents?
Yeah, many a times. Like I've seen many of my students perceive things in a very different, creative way. The intent was just to help them inspire with some ideas, some concepts, and they have come up with very new ideas based upon what setting they were brought up in. So many had very utopian ideas as well. So such ideas I feel needs to be encouraged. It needs to be taken ahead. Many of them had a very practical approach, where they understood material, they understood people, they understood budget. So yeah, it every year it keeps changing. We get innovative ideas. Some are inspired by some architect. Some of them are originally brought from their memory bank. So I believe we just need to push through, and the outcome can be
How
very
do you
nice.
help students to build their memory bank?
That's a difficult way, because most of their life they have seen the things in and around them. So not everybody might be lucky like me, where I got to spend my childhood days in jungle. But making them go to natural places around them, even if it is just a street that they used in a daily life, observe the trees around, observe the birds which are coming to that tree, see how the wind is blowing, see how the filtered light is coming through. So all these things are there in and around us. So I just try and make sure that they look around themselves, because with mere observations, a lot can be understood, and we need to have some patience. So you just can't understand a space in a 5-minute walk. You just have to walk there in morning, afternoon, at night, see it in different seasons. So you need not go in some spaces where you will find only natural beauty. It's around us, it's everywhere.
Right.
So in monsoons also, it's monsoon season at the moment. So just observe around how the water puddles get created on the piece of land, how the rain droplets are falling. So it's all there.
Right. Some people
So
find beauty in it, some people find
yeah,
problems in it.
the way you look at it.
Yeah, exactly. So, architecture is creative as well as it is a technical course. But how is that you are connected with art, and how do you carry that in your journey?
Since childhood, I was very much inclined towards art. I think when I was just 2 or 3 year old, I started doodling and sketching whatever I could see around me. So it has helped me express myself. And over the years, as a hobby, I continued doing art, and I then later on realized that people are appreciating what I am doing in terms of drawings or paintings or sketching. So in a due course of time, I started, promoting my art. So I painted subjects of abstracts, nature, sometimes even mythological components. I started sketching and painting, and I realized that people do, appreciate what I'm doing. So I later on did few art shows where, I promoted my art. I participated in exhibitions, and many of my paintings also got sold through personal contacts and social media updates. So art has given me an expression. So beyond hobby, it helps me emote my feelings. Sometimes it is like what I mentioned in terms of memory bank. I remember scenes which I see in and around me and I paint it. Sometimes it is about any specific element of nature that I do paint. So yeah, I think it has helped
So
me.
what is the common point between the art or the fine art and landscape architecture in terms of uh, two being very similar, creative, but one is more to do with a very creativity and one is to do with a balance between creativity and technicality.
So I think major components remain same. Like you do compositions in landscape as well as in your art. You have a good idea of color, visual aspects in landscape as well as in your art. It's just that in landscape we do it in actual world. We create it in a third dimension. In art, it remains in two dimensions. So, but yeah, being artistic helps me in shaping landscape spaces in a better way. I understand, how a site should be responded in a creative manner. And yes, then there are technical aspects which needs to be taken care of, in terms of how that composition can be brought into the actual design, with good amount of knowledge about drainage, lighting, how that space would be in terms of materials, how people would respond to it. So I got inspiration from this architect called as Roberto Burle Marx, the Brazilian architect, and I find myself in that frame where he also expresses himself in his paintings, artworks, as well as convert those spaces into built spaces, landscape spaces.
Can you
So
describe more about his art?
I think he does a lot of abstract art,
Huh.
and in his paintings, he expresses very artistic way of making some compositions, and converting that into a piece of landscape, whether it is a paving pattern, whether it is a planting pattern. That gets a very creative blend of dealing with landscape projects, rather than having a very typical space compositions which we otherwise see. So being artistic has helped me in looking at this overall profession of landscape in a very different way. So I see compositions, I see colors, I see textures, and rather than technically make it boring sometimes. Yeah.
So how do you take this? So students have to be taught about this art and compositions and how you look at things creatively, but at the same time, we have to make them market ready. So what is that balance that you try to, or how you bridge this gap?
So I always believe that as a student, we need to be upgraded. We need to be updated about what is happening in and around us. So I believe that as a professional, you should be holistically developed. So you should have an interest in allied fields. You should know what music is. You should know what how music impacts your emotions. You should know different visual arts in and around. You should know how a particular movie can impact you and your emotions. So not just about, or even a doctor, how he's handling his patient, or how a teacher is talking to his students. So everything around us is a certain pattern. So you need to look around, observe around, and I believe that you should always be in the profession where you are attending conferences, you are visiting nurseries, you are talking to different professionals, consultants, how do they deal with projects. You should know the money factor in the projects as well.
Correct.
So I believe that apart from just designing, you need to see how and what, in fact, even vendors, what vendors are there in market today, what new materials are coming in market today. So post COVID, lot of things have changed. Lot of things are available online. So we need to be around, go to conferences, visit and different exhibitions, and be part of it. So yeah, you can talk to experts, you can go to landscape offices, you can talk to the designers there, and understand how do they actually execute the projects.
Right.
Because in educational setup, you just are limited to making a portfolio where 5-6 drawings you make, and
Preparing for the jury becomes the agenda.
Exactly. So if you are learning landscape for just a year in your curriculum, I believe that you should make most of it by talking to people. How do they respond to a space, or doing some case studies themselves, going out and observing a public park, how people are behaving there. So observation and behavioral studies can also help.
So during this professional practice subject, students step out for internship. How was their response when they get back to college in last year?
It's a changed perspective, obviously, because they have handled timelines, they have handled clients, real world clients. They have handled the situations where the drawing needs to be taken on site and executed. And I think that is something which helps them shape their idea about landscape in a better way. And we need to make such real world contacts as our assets as a professional. I believe that the professional practice teaches you a lot of technicalities, the in-depth knowledge about things related to landscape. So they are changed, and changed for a good. Some have imprints of their clients, or some have their imprints of their boss on them, and they do come out as inspired individuals,
and it reflects in their
work,
last
in their thesis.
So do you feel that there should be some kind of upgradation in terms of institutional method, typology that is running today? Do you think we need to do something, or do we need to upgrade something from ourselves to make these people market ready, or to be more practical?
Yes, I think there is always a scope for improvement. So what was taught in terms of landscape 20 years back or 15 years back needs to be upgraded in today's context, because today's problems are different, today's issues are different, today's demands are different. So
users are completely
different. So we need to upgrade ourselves as in the current context. And materials have changed so much. A lot of technologies have changed around. So we can't give them a knowledge of textbooks which is outdated. So that is why having students go out in real world and experience landscapes is very much required. So we do need to upgrade in curriculums, and I believe that it can be done easily. So it's just that there has to be a will, and students are there. They are just the clay in your hand. You just have to mold them, and they would be ready.
Right.
for the market.
So, in your teaching career, have you noticed that slowness is kind of getting reduced? Like slowness in drawing and thinking. We rush to the solution very quickly, and we forget to observe, we forget to absorb, and we forget to understand what exactly is needed. Sometimes it is very simple, but we come up with so many ideas, and it becomes so complicated in our head only. Then how is this that you experience on your daily basis with your students?
Yeah, I do find that slowness is getting rare, uh, because we are in a context where everything is fast paced. You get food in instant, in few minutes.
Yeah.
You get to travel very fast. So I think if you want to understand landscape and its slowness, you need to spend more time in landscapes. So it is a quality which needs to be now taught, unfortunately, which
Correct.
is a very natural instinct as a human to slow down, because the idea itself of landscape previously was to slow down from a life of fast paced world. And as a quality it has become very rare, because we see everybody moving around in a very fast paced speed. So I do believe that it needs to be inculcated in students, where they are just going in spaces out there and just being there, rather than achieving something out of it. There can't be a goal or a target for everything that you do in landscapes. Sometimes it's just soaking in, just understanding what is there around us, and then making our observations and analysis or stuff like that. So I do believe that we need to help them teach now how to slow down and see things around us.
Yeah, but as you correctly mentioned, the pace that is there, market pace. So even if we introduce slowness, or we make them realize that they need to stop and observe first and then come to the conclusion, versus when they step out in the practice, the pace is like you can't beat. Like a client is briefing you now and he expects the design tomorrow. So there has to be some kind of a bridge that connects these two stages. So how do you feel, how can we inculcate that in students?
So I believe that as a designer, first we need to ourselves keep our thoughts and actions very subtle. We can't be fast paced in terms of our designs and
Right.
giving solutions which makes no sense later on. So it's better that we take more time on pre-studies and understand the concepts, understand what we can do, and then obviously there is an array of team which helps to execute
Right.
that. So I do believe that we need to go around and see what the current landscape architecture firms are doing. So a day in a landscape architect's office might help bridge the gap in terms of understanding how are these designers doing things or executing things. So you can see a landscape architect's firm, there are people who are designing, there are people who are dealing with plants. So horticulturist hai, you can understand what is their perception about plants and how are they selecting plants for a particular project. You understand how your drawings get converted into the final drawings which are required on site. So you see how draftsmen are doing their job, or you understand how the site contractors are executing it on site. So if a student spends time, a day at least in a landscape architect's office, he can understand how a sketch gets transformed into a design. So we need to help them educate in a more experiential manner, rather than just telling them ki so and so are the architectural firms.
Right.
And
So as designers, they need to be a good communicator. Communicator is not in terms of verbal, but they have to express their ideas in such a way that the horticulturist can understand his idea, the 3D guy can understand his idea, and the contractor on site और जो plant लगा भी रहा है मिट्टी में, even he needs to understand what we are visualizing.
Yeah.
So that is something the students needs to be more aware about when
Yes.
they step out of their academics.
Yes, I think very rightly said. Like, if you have a botanical name of a plant, and if you go to a nursery, and if you expect that guy to know the botanical name, is
Yeah.
quite difficult. So you need to understand what is the local names, how plants are planted. How does a horticulturist look at plants?
Also there is a
locally.
lot to
Yeah.
learn from them, because
Yeah.
they have a very different kind of background and knowledge about
Yes.
that thing, and you come from a very artistic perspective, and it is like marriage of both what we
So I think they carry a lot of wisdom. They have been doing this job since many years, and like you rightly pointed out, we need to learn, and we also need to understand that how these people have been approaching their work, understanding their strengths, understanding what are they actually doing it
Yeah.
in project, and then creatively expressing. You can very nicely explain your horticulturist about what kind of look and feel you're looking
Right.
at, what kind of 3D spatial quality that you require in a space, by
Correct.
sketching, by talking. There are multiple mediums in which you can do. You can learn their language.
Yeah.
So if something is to be conveyed in, let's say, Marathi or Hindi, so what are things called in local languages?
Right.
So we apart from the formal education that we get, we need to understand what is it that is actually happening at grassroots level. So it takes time. So you need to work in a particular setup for particular duration. You just can't learn everything in a very short. So the slowness that we were talking about is required in profession also.
Right.
So you need to soak in, like, understand
Correct.
what is it that people are doing.
So as designers, we are leaders, or we are perceived as leaders. We are leaders, but sometimes we have to, as a designer, step back and allow these other specialized people to step in and to give their opinion, and then you think around that again, and something else happens, and something very meaningful that comes out. So I think that is also very important, that
Very true. Yes.
students needs to understand as a freshers when they first step into the practice.
So as a designer, you should hold everything
Yeah,
in a very graceful
exactly.
manner. You need not be a dominant person saying that I know everything.
Right.
You need to keep your knowledge. You need to have humbleness, basically, what I
Correct.
believe, that if you know that what you're doing requires a team effort, you become humble. But if you say that you want to take lead in everything, it becomes slightly difficult.
Right.
So quality of patience, humbleness, gratefulness, you need to learn. That can't be taught from outside. So yeah, I do believe that if you want to become a good leader or a good designer, such intangible aspects needs to be learned by the person, and unfortunately it can't be taught by anyone.
Right.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sujit sir, for
Thank you.
such rich and informative conversation, and we are really happy to have you here.
Thank you.
I hope you all have realized how landscape improves your quality of life. For more such conversations about the field, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.